In a big band, the rhythm section is working all the time, but most of the glory goes to the horn section. It's just like a football team. All those big 350-pound guys are killing each other all day, but all the publicity goes to the quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers. It's not fair, but that's just how it is. The horn section garners most of the attention because in most cases, we play the melody of the song. Now, each horn has different capabilities, different personalities, and each musician plays their horn a different way. The more unique and identifiable a horn style, the more desirable. But when playing together, horn players have to learn to phrase as if only one person is playing. This requires concentration and a willingness to sacrifice your own way of phrasing for the sake of the group. If we were playing an arrangement of Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, the horns would play this. After that, in many instances, one of the horns will rise up out of the group to take a solo. Sometimes the horns play a background figure called a riff. Now, the riff can help the swing, but many times if you're soloing too long, horn players play a riff to let you know it's time for you to go ahead and sit down. It's just easier to recognize the horns. We generally play louder than the rhythm section. We play shiny instruments with bells on the end, and the sound of our instruments are produced by breath. The horns are separated into two families, the brass and then the woodwinds. Brass instruments are all made of metal and can be played very powerfully. The woodwind instruments, with the exception of the clarinet, are also made of metal, but their sound is produced by blowing on wooden reeds. The brass family in a big band includes the trumpets and the trombones, and in rare instances, we go ahead and invite our big cousin, the tuba. Just as the bass is the lowest part of the rhythm section, generally, the trombone is the lowest part of our brass section. This is Ronald Westray on the trombone. When the trombones and the big band play together, we say that they have been arranged, and they create quite a powerful sound when they want to. The trombones use mutes to create new sounds. Sometimes these sounds are humorous. The trombone sounds closest to the human voice and becomes even more voice-like when they use a plunger mute. Let's hear the trombone section play with plunger mutes. Up above the trombones and sitting behind them, playing quite loudly into their ears, is the trumpet section. In many cases, the trumpet section plays sudden, sharp accents like the snare drum. When the trumpets and the trombones play together, we achieve a full and exciting sound, and we can really punctuate the swing with deep, deep accents. I don't want y'all to think that we have to always play with the trombone section. Trumpet players love to solo. Sometimes the trumpet section is called upon to answer the woodwinds. And the trumpet section also plays with different types of mutes. In this instance, you're going to hear us play with hat mutes. Mutes that look just like a hat, and we fan them back and forth in front of the bell to close some notes and to play others open. The woodwinds are comprised of 3 types of saxophones and the clarinets. Sometimes a flute is even thrown in there for good luck. There's the alto saxophone, the tenor saxophone, and the baritone saxophone. Let's not forget about the clarinet. And in rare instances, we even have a bass clarinet, but you don't get to hear that right now. When all of the saxophones play the melody together without harmony, it's called a unison. The sound of the well-harmonized saxophone section is one of the most beautiful sounds in the world. These harmonies are called voicings, and that's a good name because the saxophones produce a sweet singing sound. They're very flexible instruments, but they're also capable of producing very strong and biting sounds. Let's listen to the whole big band now. Notice the unison lines of the saxophone, the sharp accents of the muted brass section, and the continuous swing of the rhythm section. This is Count Basie's famous Jumping at the Woodside.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Sometimes the horns all play together, one big unison, no harmony. Now this is a good effect, but not something you'll want to hear all the time. Here's a section of Duke Ellington's Rockabye River with all of the horns playing in unison. Let's hear what happens when Duke harmonizes or voices the exact same melody for the entire band. Now you can understand the power of harmony. Every now and then, the different horn sections, the trumpets, the trombones, and the saxophones, play in counterpoint. That means that all three sections play different melodies at the same time. Now, this is a very exciting effect, but very difficult to write. Perhaps the greatest example of three-section counterpoint is Duke Ellington's Diminuendo and Crescendo in Blue. The big band is a train, the drums the engine, the bass the wheels, the piano the outer frame. It carries a cargo of horns, big low ones called trombones, piercing clarion ones called trumpets, and sweet swooping singing ones called saxophones, all kept honest by the clarinet. They swing down the track listening and talking back and forth with each other, sometimes in unison, sometimes in harmony, sometimes muted, sometimes alone, others nod in agreement or not, sometimes in sections, and people dance or they don't. Have you ever heard a train talk? All you got to do is listen. This composition is entitled Jump. A lot of times when jazz musicians play, the first thing people ask is, do y'all just make up all that music? And we say, well, some of it we make up and some of it is already written. Now we're about to hear a song that features both written and improvised music. It's what we call a composition. This is a Wayne Shorter composition entitled Tom Thumb.